What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. Here on The Sweet Life, we're going to have a mix of content. We're going to be talking about gig life, as I've been a UberEats driver for the past 2 years now. So we're going to have the gig content. We're also going to have just talks about topics from everyday life, just whatever comes up and I feel like talking about. I'm going to make videos and just throw it out there, and you can comment and chime in and ask any kind of questions you want, and I'll be here to respond and do the best I can to get you the best content out that I can possibly work on. So just to give you a little bit about me, my name is Jason. As I said, I am an UberEats driver. I've been doing it for a little over 2 years now. I was originally doing it part-time. I had a 9-to-5, and I would leave my 9-to-5 and do UberEats for a couple hours after my 9-to-5 job. So it was just a little side hustle. But about a month and a half ago or so, I was laid off from my 9-to-5. So now it has become my full-time job until I find another 9-to-5 job. So, you know, that's basically what I do now in order to sustain some kind of income. I did receive severance pay from my 9-to-5, so I mean, I'm not struggling or anything. You know, I did get income from that, but I use UberEats, you know, still as more of a supplement now that I don't have the 9-to-5 income coming in every 2 weeks like I did before. I drive here in the Tampa Bay, Florida area, so, you know, we'll be discussing how it is down here in Florida doing UberEats and how that goes. So you'll definitely be hearing me talk a lot about that. So let's get into it. The first video that I wanted to bring out to y'all is UberEats worth it in 2025? What is the truth? So when you think about that topic, there's a few different things that immediately come up. First thing is going to be your area. You know, you really have to think about the area that you live in. You know, do you live in a big populated city where there's a lot of restaurants around, or do you live out in the country or a smaller city where there's not so many restaurants? You know, you got to put all of that into perspective. You know, if you live in a big city, you know, it will be a little bit easier to make more money than it will if you just live out in an area where it's not as populated. You probably have to drive to a larger area and then you know, deliver in order to make it worth it. Second thing that you have to put in perspective is, are you doing it full-time or are you doing it part-time? You know, part-time is good. I really don't recommend anyone really try to do this as a full-time job unless you don't have another job and you just need some money right away. Then okay, fine, go ahead and do it as a full-time job. But mostly I just recommend you do it as a side hustle in addition to your full-time job, because it's kind of hard to depend on gig income to pay everything that you have, you know, to sustain your life off of just UberEats or whatever apps that you decide to use. The other thing about living in a big area is sometimes it's hard to get on these apps because they're so saturated with drivers. You have to get on wait lists and it can take a while. Fortunately, when I first got on UberEats, I was able to start working right away without any wait lists. But since I'm out of work right now, I actually just tried to sign up for Amazon Flex, Instacart, and Walmart Spark, and all three of those had no spots open in my area. They only had I had to be put on the wait list for all three of those. So If any of those come open, then I'll definitely try one of those in addition to Uber Eats, and I'll definitely bring you that content as well and let you know how it is doing any of those if those happen to come open anytime soon. Next thing to consider is if you want to maximize your profit, make sure you have all of the different types of make sure you have all of the different delivery options on, such as regular deliveries, alcohol deliveries, packages, and also shop and deliver orders as well. I honestly try to stay away from the shop and delivers unless it's a really good order with really good pay and low mileage. Then I'll go and do it. You know, those are the orders that you have to go into the grocery store or convenience store like Walgreens or CVS or something and shop for the items that the customer wants, and then pay for the items using the Uber card and then deliver it. You know, I try to stay away from those because a lot of times they'll give you orders with a lot of items that you have to shop for, and the pay is not really worth it. So, but I keep it turned on because sometimes they do have good orders that will come through that I will take. Let's make sure you have all four of those on, so anything that good comes through, you can take it. My favorite are probably the alcohol orders because, you know, with the alcohol orders, I find you do get tips a lot with those, and they're usually pretty quick. Some places you have to go and actually shop for the alcohol. Other places you go and they have the alcohol ready for you. Just go up to the register and tell them you have an Uber Eats order, and they'll have it already ready for you, and you just deliver it and take the customer's ID and scan it and give them their order, and that's it. So you know, those are always good as well. You know, another thing that you have to think about as you do it is what are the best times to deliver in your area, and that's something that you just kind of figure out with time, you know, as you go out and learn your area and learn you know, how your area operates. You know, here in this area it's usually better to deliver, I'd say, late afternoon and at night. You know, I don't usually go out too early in the morning. Now that I'm not working, I usually will go out like 12 or 1 to start and stay out until at night, maybe 9-10 o'clock sometimes, depending on how much I want to make or if I haven't made the amount that I'm looking for. So, you know, you'll figure that out as you deliver. As time goes, you'll figure out how your area operates. I would also say to make a goal every day, a set amount that you want to make each day. Like, you know, when I was just doing it part-time, my goal usually would be around $60 to $70 in the evening. Once I made that, then I'd be fine and be ready to go home. Now that I'm doing it full-time, my goal is usually set around $100 a day or more. You know, on the weekends I probably will push it a little bit more, try to make over $100, but during the week I'll just try to make at least $100 a day before I go home. So just set a goal to give yourself something to work towards, and you know, that'll definitely give you motivation and help you to, you know, feel better about it when you are delivering. So when it comes down to it, do I think driving for Uber Eats is still worth it in 2025? Yes, absolutely. You know, again, it does depend on your area, but I mean, if you live in a decent sized area with a good amount of restaurants, then I would definitely say it is worth it to at least get on it part-time, to use it as a side hustle and make a little bit of extra money. Just be prepared that there may be a wait list Depending on your area and how many drivers are in the area, you might have to be on the wait list for a while. So just be prepared for that. But that's all I have for you today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to continue posting content on here as much as I can, and I just look forward to responding to the comments and getting more content out to you.